November 19th, Saint Elizabeth of Hungary. Elizabeth was the daughter of a king of Hungary and niece of Saint Hedwig. She was betrothed in infancy to Louis Landgrave of Thuringia and was brought up in his father's court. Elizabeth's material benefactions were so great that they sometimes provoked adverse criticism. In the year 1225, that part of Germany was severely visited by a famine, and she exhausted her own treasury and distributed her whole store of corn amongst those who felt the calamity the heaviest. Her husband was then away, and at his return the officers of his household complained to him of her profusion to the poor. But Louis, without examining into the matter, asked if she had alienated any of his dominions. They answered no. As for her charities, he said, they will bring upon us the divine blessings. Another example of her great charity was that the castle of Wartburg was built on a steep rock, which the infirm and weak were not able to climb. The path was called the Knee Smasher. St. Elizabeth therefore built a hospital at the foot of the rock for their reception, where she often fed them with her own hands, made their beds, and attended them even in the heat of the summer when the place seemed insupportable. Helpless children, especially orphans, were provided for at her expense. She was foundress of another hospital in which 28 persons were constantly relieved, and she fed 900 daily at her gate. But Elizabeth's charity was tempered with discretion, and instead of encouraging in idleness such as were able to work, she employed them in ways suitable to their strength and ability. Once, as she was carrying in the folds of her mantle some provisions for the poor, she met her husband returning from the hunt. Astonished to see her bending under the weight of her burden, he opened the mantle which she kept pressed against her, and found in it nothing but beautiful red and white roses, although it was not the season for flowers. Bidding her pursue her way, he took one of the marvelous roses and kept it all his life. In August of the year 1227, Louis traversed the mountains between Thuringia and Upper Franconia through the lands of Swabia and Bavaria. He fell ill of the plague after reaching the kingdom of Sicily. He received extreme unction from the Patriarch of Jerusalem and the Bishop of Santa Croce before he died. A few days after his death, his daughter Gertrude was born. After her husband's death, she and her children were ill-treated by the rest of her family. They were cruelly driven from their palace and forced to wander through the streets, a prey to hunger and cold. But St. Elizabeth welcomed all her sufferings and continued to be the mother of the poor, converting many by her holy life. She renounced the world, becoming a tertiary of St. Francis of Assisi. She built the Franciscan hospital at Marburg and devoted herself to the care of the sick until her death at the age of just 24 in the year 1231. She was officially proclaimed a saint only 4 years after her death. This young and delicate princess made herself the servant and nurse of the poor. Let her example teach us to disregard the opinions of the world and to overcome our natural repugnances in order to serve Christ in the persons of his poor.